Shields up, Ironbreakers. Today, we're going to be talking about Dreamhaven. I'm live streaming this on Twitch, and I will be recording it as a video to put on YouTube as well. But basically, for those of you not aware, this is a company that was founded by Mike Morhaime. And Mike Morhaime, as you may or may not know, is the CEO, the ex-CEO of Blizzard Entertainment. You guys might remember when I did my my videos about the fall of Blizzard. One of the things that I hypothesized was like one of the reasons why Mike Morhaime was bailing out is because he kind of like lost control of the company, a couple of years after the merger with Activision. I talked about this. A lot of people said that, Mike Morhaime might actually not care that much. I think you're seeing Mike Morhaime as a saint. That might be the case. That might not be the case. One thing is definitely interesting, and that is the fact that Mike Morhaime announced his new game company, Dreamhaven. And we'll be going to the website soon. Actually, I'm going to open it up because I want to check out the website afterwards. But this is an article on Wowhead, and I believe that they're going to quote several other websites that did like interviews with Mike Morhaime and stuff. So I'm going to take a bit of a deep dive into this. Because it was one thing if Mike Morhaime was stepping away from Blizzard to retire. Like, if he's stepping away from Blizzard to retire, that's like, okay, sure. So he worked at Blizzard, then he got tired, or whatever, or maybe the pressure was too much and he wanted to move on and just retire. But he got out of Activision Blizzard, and now he's starting a brand new company, and it looks like he's bringing with him a lot of old Blizzard talent. I just took a quick look at the website yesterday. But anyway, here we go. Co-founder and former Blizzard Entertainment president Mike Morhaime. This is an article by Archim Tyros. Co-founder and former Blizzard Entertainment president Mike Morhaime announced the launch of Dreamhaven, a new games development company based in Irvine, California, which will provide guidance, support, and funding to subsidiary game development studios. The two initial studios, Moonshot Games and Secret Door, are similarly staffed by Blizzard alumni, including Jason Chase, Dustin Browder, Ben Thompson, Chris Segati, I don't know how to pronounce that name, I'm sorry, Alan DeBeery, and Eric Dodds. Mike Morhaime stepped down as president of Blizzard in October of 2018 after forming the company then called Silicon and Synapse. Man, I remember Silicon and Synapse because back in the day when I had like a really old-ass computer, I had a 286 processor computer. This is like really, really old. To give you an idea, the first Pentiums that showed up, they were considered the 586. So I had a 286 computer, and I remember that I wanted to play this game that I had seen a friend of mine play. It was a really cool game called Lost Vikings. And the developer that created that game was Silicon and Synapse. And I couldn't play the Lost Vikings because you needed a 386 processor. But anyway, this was 1991, serving in an advisory role until his non-compete clause expired the following April. He will now serve as CEO of Dreamhaven, bringing decades of experience along with him and his studio teams, headed by Jason Chase and Chris Segati at Moonshot and Secret Door, respectively. So you get to see some art around like the name of his company, I guess. Looks kind of cool. You see some spaceships, some airships with balloons and stuff, some boats. I wonder if they're going to start by doing an RTS, if they're going to start like a new RTS universe, because, Blizzard, they did Warcraft and all of that. That's kind of like one of their biggest claims to fame. So Mike Morhaime, former CEO and co-founder of Blizzard Entertainment and a host of industry veterans, today announced Dreamhaven, their new game company based in Irvine, California. Dreamhaven will create and publish original games for players around the world, and has established its two first studios, Moonshot and Secret Door. I'm excited to team up with such talented people who care deeply about games and their communities, said Dreamhaven CEO Mike Morhaime. I've always believed in the power of games to bring people together regardless of backgrounds or boundaries. With Dreamhaven, we look forward to creating and sharing new experiences with players everywhere. The team at Dreamhaven came together around a common goal to empower creators, help bring their ideas to life, and create original gaming experiences that foster meaningful connections between players. This is a lot of the stuff that they kind of did with the Blizzard games of old. But it's like, that's a lot of the stuff that they did with Blizzard games of old. I'm talking like Diablo 2, for instance, which was particularly, when it comes to Blizzard games, the ones that hit me the hardest, like old school Blizzard. I mean, I say old school, it's not super old school. World of Warcraft is still naturally being worked on. It's about to receive a new expansion here in a pretty short time. But I'm talking about the games that marked me the most was definitely Diablo 2. And I know that for some people it's probably Diablo 1. And I'm not saying that the story of Diablo 2 is better than 1, because the story of 1 is kind of like the basis of all of it, right? I'm just thinking that in terms of gameplay, Diablo 2 was the one that hit me really, really hard. That was the game that kind of brought about my passion for making builds, was Diablo 2. Like, I'd be sitting in school with my notebook out and just be like thinking, oh, dude, I'm going to do a necro, and this skill synergizes with that skill, and that other skill synergizes with this other one, and then it's going to be great. Actually, we didn't have synergies back then. Never mind. But I was thinking about, like, I want 20 points in a Bone Spirit for PvP. I want... Dude, I used to do so much PvP in Diablo 2. God damn. But yeah, Diablo 2 really big. The other one was the soundtrack guys are hearing in the background, which is StarCraft, the original StarCraft. And this is gonna be, a lot of people are gonna hate me for it, but I liked StarCraft more than Warcraft. I'm sorry. And I know that StarCraft was made kind of like as a joke. They made this joke game, StarCraft, and then suddenly it's like, dude, I love StarCraft. It's amazing. I love the story. I love the characters. I thought it was really good. Although I gelled much more with the original StarCraft than StarCraft 2, because StarCraft 2 became kind of like an esports type thing where people would basically play with Post-it notes next to their screens with build orders, and they would always do the same build order. And I remember that by the time I did my 10th match against a Protoss 4-gate, and I won by making one Void Ray, because the dude, like, there's aerial units in this game, but there's nothing about that in my rush build order. So I won the game with one Void Ray. But I was like, dude, I'm super burned out on this. This is dumb. People just like follow build orders. They do nothing else. So yeah, I got real burned out on StarCraft 2. But anyway, yeah, it's like those two games, and then naturally World of Warcraft. That is what marked me the most. And all of those games kind of have that connection that he's talking about, right? Diablo 2 was the first game where I actually played significant multiplayer with random people online. Made a couple of friendships that way as well. And StarCraft was another one of those. And naturally World of Warcraft is still, like, you guys need to understand, 90% of the reason why so many people still play World of Warcraft is the social aspect. They're like super invested in their character, and all of their friends play the game, so they all just kind of like use that to hang out with their friends. Like, it's not because of the quality of the gameplay. But yeah. Anyway, continuing on. The company and its studios are still very new, so it's not quite clear what kind of games they intend to make, although the Washington Post noted that Moonshot is to be focused on large projects, while Secret Door works on more intimate ones. That I believe that the leads of these studios, one of the leads of one of them, I don't know which one, I think it's probably Secret Door by the description that they're saying here, is one of the guys that came up with Hearthstone, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure that they'll mention this in the article. But yeah, that said, something that's launching not one but two studios together is quite an ambitious move for any new company, while being located in Irvine also places it in a competitive area, being the longtime seat of Blizzard Entertainment, Obsidian Entertainment, Ready at Dawn Studios, and the relatively new Amazon Game Studios, as well as home to dozens more developer in the greater Orange County area and throughout California. Hey, you know what? Maybe Dreamhaven will actually pay their employees enough that they don't have to skip lunch at the company cafeteria and tell everybody, no, I got a lot of work to do. I can't really go to lunch with you guys today because I can't afford to eat, because I can't afford to sleep in my house with 4 other people on it. Maybe they actually pay their people in this studio as opposed to what Activision Blizzard is doing, but who knows. VentureBeat has some great quotes to share from the former Blizzard president and new studio heads. Mike Morhaime via VentureBeat said, "We're almost trying to create a haven for creators who want an environment that is development-friendly, values product and player experience over short-term financial pressures." Dude! Shade! Some shade has been thrown here, ladies and gentlemen. We believe in the power of gaming to bring people together and as an escape of the unpleasant things that reality can bring. In that sense, it's a haven as well. We like the imagery of a lighthouse as a beacon, and that inspires us because we hope that Dreamhaven can be a beacon of hope to others in the industry who share our values and philosophies. There is a better way of approaching business and game creation. There's a better way than what, Mike? That can work and be sustainable and be a lot of fun and yield positive results. So this is very interesting. You can clearly see that Mike is throwing some shade, and the fact that he is saying there is a better way. He's talking about there's a better way than the way that people are doing it right now, where they're basically squeezing blood out of a stone. That's basically what is happening in development right now. You're squeezing blood out of a stone. And it seems like Mike is trying to recapture the Blizzard of old. You guys remember the Blizzard of old? Let me tell you what was the mantra of the Blizzard of old, because probably a lot of people don't even remember. Well, it's not been that long since the fall of Blizzard, so probably a lot of people still do remember it. But like the Blizzard of old was like, it gets done when it gets done, and it doesn't get shipped until it's done. And when you bought a Blizzard product back in the day, you knew that you were buying quality. You knew that you were buying quality. You weren't buying a Diablo 3 Error 37 game, right? I mean, sure, World of Warcraft had its issues, but it was the most successful MMO of the time. Like, nobody had really done anything quite as big as... Or had they? No, I don't think they did. At least nobody had the amount of influx of players that World of Warcraft had. That was like the first big MMO that just like completely servers were crashing because everybody wanted to see the Warcraft of MMOs, right? So yeah, so it's like it's really cool to see that might be the the kind of like work philosophy that Mark Morhaime is creating. Because again, to me, it almost seemed, and maybe I'm an optimist, maybe I'm a fanboy, and you can say whatever you want, right? But even in my Fall of Blizzard videos, as I was criticizing Blizzard, one sentiment was always there, and I was like, I just hope they turn it around. They fix things and they go back to being the way that they were. Obviously, that never happened, and Mike Morhaime left. But part of me always believed, and again, optimist, fanboy, whatever. I'll take all the criticism that anybody wants to throw at me over that. But part of me always believed that like Mike was a guy that wanted to do right by his employees. Because, I mean, you don't foster the type of, like, prestige and goodwill from customers without having a good company culture. And at some point during the Blizzard acquisition, it was not immediate. I want to say that it was kind of like a slow burn type thing. But Activision slowly started sinking their teeth deeper and deeper and like starting like, oh, you guys got to launch this faster, got to launch this on this timeline because investors and all of that other nonsense. And that's kind of like what ended up corrupting it, right? That's kind of where the problems started happening. But I like the fact that it seems like he's going back to that type of company culture because we definitely need that type of company culture in gaming development right now, because we constantly see titles coming out in early access, or even without being in early access, they just come out unfinished. And there's this mentality of like, we'll fix it later after we launch this turd. We'll polish this turd to a point where it's actually playable. And that's just not, something that is feasible. So I'm very invested in what these guys are going to create. I'm very curious. And I could be completely wrong. Maybe again, I'm being the optimist. I'm being the fanboy. I'm dreaming of the Blizzard of old and all of that jazz. But first, I want to see what they produce, and I want to take a look at it, and I want to see if it brings that level of quality back to the table. If it brings that level of that long-term experiences that we've had with the old Blizzard stuff, right? So we'll see how that pans out. Anyways, this is again Mike Morhaime still saying, they can make the games they are passionate about, they're in control of their destiny, and hopefully feel like they have the best of both worlds. The entrepreneurial spirit, the stability and resources that often only larger companies can provide. We're not in a hurry to go out and get funding because the most important thing is to make sure we retain control over the company's decision making. When we do when we do go out and seek investment, we want to be aligned in terms of vision and values. It's important to create an environment that can sustainably cultivate creativity and innovation and unlock the potential of these talented teams. We felt that was something that we could do. In talking to Jason and some of the other folks, we felt there was this window of opportunity that we had to do it now. There's definitely a window of opportunity because, again, what is happening right now is the consumers, like, we're just fed up. We're fed up with these games that keep coming out, and, you know, maybe the gameplay loop is something cool, but ultimately, you know, there's stuff there that is not finished. There's stuff there that feels like it was hashed out just to make, like, you know, to get engagement instead of enjoyment. Whereas game development should be about enjoyment and not engagement. Ultimately, like, I know that against my own better judgment, when I make a video, I don't make videos based on engagement. I make videos based on enjoyment. Sure, engagement is a factor, but ultimately, I make videos based on what I think people will enjoy and the things that I enjoy. And I would like to see that more from gaming right now. Anyway, then we have Jason Chise, and actually, we should go to Dreamhaven and we could see the team, because I think they show us the team here, right? And we can see what's the experience of Mr. Chise, because I think everybody knows Mike Morhaime, but, oh, isn't this the guy from StarCraft? Chris Segati? Anyway, that doesn't matter. Let's look. We're looking for Jason Chise, I'm sorry. Moonshot Studio Head. Back in the day, Jason started his career as an artist for the Walt Disney Company. He learned from a bunch of talented folks while there, and then later he had the chance to join Electronic Arts as an art lead and development director. He found joy there while working with the small and scrappy teams and brought that passion with him to Blizzard, where he helped build Hearthstone and some other really cool stuff. Anyway, this is the guy that that helped build Hearthstone, Jason Chise. Let's see what he's got to say. I just have tremendous respect for Mike as a values-driven leader. Somebody who really had a lot of courage to accompany his convictions, and so the idea of working with him and getting this off the ground was the best of possible worlds. There is something a little bit magical about being a size where we can get everybody together into a room at one time and really talk about what we are trying to do. I had a tremendous amount of fun during my time at Blizzard and many friends who are still there. But is there unfinished business? There are more things that we'd like to do. There are more stories to tell, more games to make, and a need to figure out what developers and publishers look like in the future. This is the opportunity to build a company. Okay, so he hasn't said much apart from the fact of values-driven leader, you know, basically saying that Mike is a nice guy. Chris Segati, let's take a look at him. Is it Segati? I don't know. Oh yeah, this is the guy. I think this guy worked on StarCraft 2. I'm not sure. The veteran of video game industry, Chris has overseen development of several award-winning video games, including Warcraft 3, StarCraft 2. Yeah, like I said. And the reason I know that is because when I was at BlizzCon with the TGN Squadron, I remember being there with Pally Time, and they were doing something for StarCraft 2. I think it might have been the last expansion, the one for the Protoss. And we went to the StarCraft stations, and me and Pally Time wanted to check it out. And this guy was there seating people. He was literally there just like, oh yeah, here's these stations, they're available. This guy, like one of the developers at of StarCraft 2 was just there like helping people sit down to play StarCraft 2. But anyway, here's the storm in Hearthstone. Chris's goal is to link arms with passionate developers to craft game experiences that bring players together and create positivity in the world. Anyway, what does he have to say? I was familiar with Mike's values in the 24 years. Again, Mike's values. Everybody brings up Mike's values. Are they just blowing smoke? Like, that's the thing. Is everybody here a liar? I don't know. And the 24 years, the things that stood out to me were moments where we were working on projects and it was unclear whether we needed to push forward and just get something out or push the date back and get to the greatness. Mike led the way, making tough decisions to the point where he was allowing enough time for the greatness to form and get it to the quality that it needed to be. It's similar to what Mike said. All I've known in my professional development career was at Blizzard. I've been so fortunate to be a part of what happened there, but is this a fluke? I refuse to believe that. These are the things that go on in your head. Who am I now? That's part of what has driven my decision to do this. So again, this guy is stressing out the importance of the meme of Blizzard soon. Like, we'll get it out when it's ready. It's going to be released when it's ready. It's not the current Blizzard soon. The current Blizzard soon, sorry about that. The current Blizzard soon is kind of like, we'll get it out whenever we feel like it, pretty much. But yeah. The Washington Post also offered additional quotes from an interview last Friday. Mike Morhaime said, "We've learned a ton about what goes into creating an environment that allows creators to do their best work. And we were very successful doing that for many years at Blizzard. We reached the crossroads where we reassessed what we wanted to do with the rest of our lives. For Amy and I, that meant taking a step back, looking at all the things that we could possibly do, and deciding to come back full circle and engage with a team of people that we know and trust and share values with, and see if, hey, all the experience we have, maybe we can do it even better this time. Some of the things that were particularly difficult the first time around are going to be a little bit easier this time. We aren't starting with no money. We're not having to write all the tools ourselves. There's a lot of technology that's available pretty reasonably for us to be able to build off of. And the business climate is a lot more friendly to game development startups. So it's mostly exciting. Maybe 10%, scary. So back in the day, they did have to make their own tools, and it was really interesting. I don't know how many of you guys played StarCraft or Warcraft 2, but those games came with a map editor. That map editor is like something that they created to make the campaign. So it's like, they're just like, hey, we made the campaign using this program. We'll just include it. And if you guys want to make your own campaigns, go right ahead. Like that I think was almost unheard of at the time. I remember because I played a ton with StarCraft's map editor. I used to like, oh, dude, I'm going to make my own campaign. Because I was super fanboy at the time. So I was always like messing around the map editor, trying to make like all of these different scenarios and stuff. I never really did anything particularly good at it because, despite all of my enthusiasm, I wasn't very good. So it's like, it doesn't really matter, but it was cool. But anyway, it's cool that, now there's a lot more tools. You got the Unreal Engine, which is a lot more accessible. You have, what's it called? The other one. You have Unreal Engine. You have, keep forgetting, the one that a lot of indie people use. God damn, dude, I hate how sleep deprivation messes with my memory. I know that somebody in here knows what I'm talking about. The engine that a lot of... Unity. The Unity engine. There you go. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. But yeah, Unity engine. Now, anyway, if you look back just 3 years from 91 to 94, that's the period where we were completely independent. We sort of managed to operate inside larger companies with an incredible degree of autonomy and independence. But when you're a part of a public company, there's only really so much independence you can actually have because I didn't actually own the company for such a long time. See, again, we see Mike talking about autonomy and independence, the freedom to be able to make his own decisions. But yeah, there's only really so much independence you can actually have because I didn't own the company. Dreamhaven is hopefully like a beacon to the rest of the industry. Maybe we can lead by example and show that there's a better way of doing things and approaching the business of games and treating your employees and treating your players. Again, a better way of doing things. A better way than what? Than Activision Blizzard? A better way than Electronic Arts? A better way than Ubisoft? I'd like to think so. I really would, Mike. And I hope that they actually, dude, if they could just like do it. If they, I want so bad for this to succeed. I really do. There's few things that I want it to succeed so bad. Anyway, approaching the business, and again, treating your employees and treating your players. Because one of the things that we notice with Activision Blizzard that we've seen a lot of complaints over in the last couple of years, what has been happening? You see the firing of 800 people and them finding out on the afternoon that they're getting fired in a parking lot. Them discovering like, oh, I guess I don't have a job anymore. Them not treating their players right. Like, for instance, what happened with Heroes of the Storm esports, where they're basically like just sent like out a post and say people that are planning their lives around this this Heroes esports scene, because Blizzard's like, yeah, we're going to do an esports scene. Fears the Storm, guaranteed, not going to be a problem. And here's the thing, I was super close to that situation. Like, I know a lot of people that were involved in this, and like they were planning on, you know, their lives were basically completely uprooted. And what did Blizzard do? Just like this post and said, oh yeah, all of this esports stuff that we said about Heroes of the Storm, forget about all that. Completely disrespectful to their players, completely disrespectful to their employees by basically firing them on the spot, over 800 people, and later on just hiring 800 people more so that they wouldn't have to keep them and actually provide them with benefits and increase their salaries and all that stuff, because that's what happens, right? As you get seniority in a company, it is expected of you to get salary bonuses and all of that jazz. In order to prevent that, what do? They fired 800 people, hired 800 new ones, and in a couple of years, I predict that those 800 people are going to get fired again. That's pretty much what's going to happen. But, you know, this is something very important. This is something that Again, I don't have any insider information, but this is something that it always seemed like it was the culture that Blizzard portrayed of treating their people right, and definitely treating their players right with a lot of value and a lot of support for their games. Like, just go see how many patches the original StarCraft had. How much support did they do for that game? And it's not like the game was bad when it came out. The game was fine, and then they kept patching it and iterating on it and did a proper expansion to it. That's the way to do it. Anyway, obviously you have to have success in product creation and success financially to back that up. But that is what we're going for. So treating your employees and treating your players right, dude. I really hope so. Was that it? Is that the whole thing? Man. Like, I really hope that this is successful. I really do. I really hope that they manage to pull it out of the park with this studio here. A bit about us. What do we believe? Shared values, purpose, and trust are required to create an environment that cultivates creativity and innovation. Strong teams that learn and evolve over time and are more valuable than individual products or ideas. Strong teams that learn and evolve over time are more valuable than individual products or ideas. Yeah, you guys remember how many games were canceled? StarCraft Ghost, the Warcraft Stories game that they were going to work on. It was going to be like a point-and-click adventure. They were working on one of those. And there's probably a ton more that I'm not remembering right now. But yeah, they're basically like, yeah, these games don't look as good as we want them to be. So doesn't matter how long you were working on it, scrap it. Project Titan, which was going to be their MMO that eventually morphed into Overwatch. So yeah, the global community of gamers can be a force for good. What we want to do. Reimagine the studio model by empowering studios to establish independent entities, voices, and culture, create vibrant worlds that reflect our values, again, independent entities, voices, and cultures. Culture. The concept of company culture. Create vibrant worlds, reflect our values, take the chances that most big publishers won't, and many smaller studios aren't always able to. Provide a safe place where developers, creators, and players can connect in meaningful ways. Create games that we would be proud to share with our children and the world. Dreamhaven empowers agile studios to focus on their craft and bring their ideas to life. Providing support and resources over the long term, our teams have the freedom and flexibility to express their individuality through their games with their unique voices. Take a closer look at our two first studios. Moonshot Games. Welcome one and all. We are a new studio chasing some big ideas to bring players together. We believe games can create happiness and evoke wonder. So we're building a studio with a culture of curiosity where it is safe to try a crazy idea. It's the early days and we're learning every day together. And we're seeking great folks from different backgrounds to join in the adventure. See, that's the reason why they're making this a big deal now, why they're announcing this now. It's a recruitment drive to fill the ranks of their studios. And I think we're going to see a big exodus from Blizzard. Because here's the thing. Like, these people, the problem is, I mean, they said the non-compete for Mike Morhaime has ended, so maybe it's not a problem anymore. Although I'm surprised. Such a low-time non-compete. Like, I think usually non-competes are a little bit longer than that, but I could be wrong. But anyways, I predict that a lot of people, like the most talented, I'll tell you what, Samwise, that artist guy, he's probably going to be one of the first people to join Dreamhaven if he hasn't already. I'd almost bet that Samwise is going to be joining this because he's one of the guys that you always see. But like, look, we need 3D generalist, concept artist, gameplay engineer, lead platform engineer, and then we have the team here: Ben, Derek, Dustin Browder. I remember Dustin Browder from Here's the Storm. Jenny, Jason, Hadija, Laurel, Rick, and Johnny. And Grant. Yeah. It's like, I don't know a lot of these people, but, you know, that's Moonshot Games. What about the other one? Secret Door. Ooh, the website is getting slammed right now. Or is it my internet that's dying? I don't know. Anyway. A new game studio where seeking talented game developers. Again, like I said, it's a recruitment drive. That's why this is such a big deal right now. Bring people together in positive ways. Explorers head into uncharted territory. Enduring, build a sustainable home for creators. Sustainable. Again, the whole thing about how we're different. Nimble. Stay small, adapt, make an impact. Team. Alan, Billy, Chris, Paladin 8, Bart 5. Striving to ensure the fellowship gets the ring to Mordor. When you find what you are seeking, Eric, Jason, Kate, and Wes. Open positions: 3D generalist, gameplay engineer, server engineer. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. But yeah, I think that a lot of the people that you see... Oh, yeah, that there's still more. Who we are. We're a group of friends with passion for games together. We have launched numerous large-scale games and projects. We have felt our hearts lifted by the communities that are formed around our games, and we also huddled up to come up with solutions when things go wrong, and together we have come to understand it's about the journey and not the destination. This is just the beginning. We believe the strongest teams not only have aligned values and trust, but also diverse backgrounds and experiences. We are seeking more friends and colleagues who have seen the world through different lenses and will bring additional perspectives. Our company and the games we make will be better for it. It's like what I'm telling you guys. Like, a lot of people from Blizzard, because you need to understand, these people have a repertoire together with a lot of the talent that is still at Blizzard. So the more talented individuals at Blizzard, they're going to be like, oh, damn, I'm going to go apply right now. And then when they see their names like on the application forms, they're like, oh yeah, Samwise from the art? Fuck yeah, bring that guy in. No problem. Boom, done. Easy mode. Like, guaranteed. They're gonna poach a lot of Blizzard's talent. Like, if you thought Activision Blizzard was bad right now, give it a couple of months. They're gonna take all the talent. Or maybe not. Maybe again. Maybe I'm just being too optimist. Maybe I'm being crazy. But, you know, one can hope. One can only hope.